So it's been probably about 7 months since I quit my job, and over the past month I collaborated with Redhead Robot. So he's an artist, and we made this like car controller thing for the Unity asset store. So that'll be like the first actual product that, like the first possible source of income since I quit my job. So this thing comes with a bunch of comes with like a caddy, a cop car, an F1 car, and a monster truck. And let me just drag in. So it has these groups that are just the car already set up with the camera. So just drop it in and play, and you can already drive around. Looking pretty sweet. But I want to show how it works with this car from the asset store. So how you could just bring in other cars into this thing. So here's this cool car, fantastic race car, 43 by T-Bull. So we got this car 43 in here. I'm just gonna delete the F1 car for now. Show the process of how you could bring in your own car. So here's his car model. Just drag that in here. This beautiful car model. And this guy has a whole bunch of things that are really just part of the body and the wheels. So what we want to do is you want everything to be facing forward. So in the local transform, the blue arrow forward, all the wheels and everything should be centered. See how it's centered and they're facing forwards. Then they'll just automatically work with this thing. So if you go into the scripts that come in the FunCar Kit, there's a vehicle controller script. So on the car, you drag the vehicle controller script, and then you need to have a body game object. So I'm just going to grab everything that's kind of part of the body and put it in the same thing. So there's a body and there's wheels. So on the script there's a body and each wheel, so you drag the body onto there. Back left goes left back, back right, left front, right front, and we have some physics materials. So the body and the tire. And then there's some settings like horsepower, steering, tire grip is like how much it slides sideways, suspension and stuff. So we press play, and in theory already is drivable just like that. So you could bring in your own cars. And then there's a camera. So if you go create a camera, and then you drag the camera script onto the camera, and then on the camera there's car object. Let's drag our car 43 on there and play it. And the game window, got the camera working. You can also adjust how the camera is positioned. And how fast it follows, and if it does this field of view effect, which is like it distorts. I'll just turn it really high, so it like totally stretches the screen. And you can right click these and reset them to the default. And when they're set nice, you can go copy component, stop, paste component values, and then when you drive, it's all set up. It's a really nice looking car. But I want it to have more horsepower. So I can drag up this horsepower thing. 620 horsepower. So now it's crazy fast. Whoa. And then you can also make the tires have less grip and kind of drift around. Goes sideways. You can also tell the camera not to rotate with the car so it doesn't stay behind them. So much slide. So that's pretty cool. If you stop, it's not going to save any of those settings. Anyway, so that's a dope car. So let's bring in a car that my buddy Taya made himself. So just to show that this can work with any car that you make too. So here's what he made. I believe it has materials. Oh, here he has the materials here. Anyway, okay, here's my buddy's car. And then the problem with this car is, so all the wheels in the car are supposed to be modeled facing forwards, but his car is actually not facing forwards. See, the blue arrow is not forwards on the car. So for this one we have to set it up a little bit differently. Create empty. I'm going to copy component, paste component values. So his car, I will put it inside a game object, and we'll make this the body, and we'll rotate that so that it's facing forwards, so that the parent's forward direction is the direction that the car body is facing, and then each of these tires, take those out of the body. And so they're rotated 90 degrees, which is going to screw up. I'll just show what happens. So if I add the vehicle controller to this car, and also let's tell the camera that we're looking at this car. And then we add the body. That's the front left wheel. What order are these wheels? I'm going to rename these wheels so I know what the F they are. Front left, front right, back right, back left. Okay, so if we were to set this guy up, so we got the body, front left, front right, back right, back left. Physics, materials. So because the car was modeled not facing forwards, the wheels do that. So if that happens, what you gotta do is create select each wheel and create, maybe I can do it all at the same time. Create empty child so that we've got a game object in the exact correct spot. And I'm just going to name them front left, front right, back right, back left, and take each of these out. So you just have them in the right locations, but then they're all rotated, so rotate them their Y's to 0, and now they're all facing forward. They all have the blue arrow pointing forwards while you're in local. And then just put the wheels inside of them. So back left, back right, front left. And then use those as the wheels so that those are the things that spin. So front left, front right, back left, back right. So now they're turning properly. So for this kind of car, I want to have way bigger wheels. So what you can do is you can actually scale the wheels. I'm going to do maybe like 1.75, something like that. And then I'm going to move the body up a little bit. And on the car, I should probably call this car. On the vehicle controller, I'm going to bring the suspension. So there's suspension X, Y, and Z. So that's like the different angles that the suspension tilts. And zero just makes it not have any. And then suspension tension is like how strong the springs try to push it back into place. So to make this looser, I'm going to do 4 and 2. I'm going to make suspension tension the default. Definitely need to move that camera. I'm going to reset the camera because I had moved it before just to the default settings. Got a big monster truck thing. So it's cool because you can rescale the wheels and they'll just work. They'll scale with the collision that it makes will scale with them. And if you wanted to, you could also change the suspension in the Y rotation. I'll just show what that does. Might not work for most vehicles, but it spins left and right. So it's pretty good at like adjusting to different kinds of vehicles. So another thing is the wheel hang is like how far the wheels hang beneath the body of the car. So you can adjust that. Wheel hang distance to about that. And then when I move this thing, you can see that they really hang farther below. Or you could make it 0 so they don't hang at all. Big mother trucker. And also can work with like this simple town thing. If people like, this is a pretty popular, well-known Unity asset, so you could actually like rig up one of these cars to drive around too. Alright, so the simple town pack, just open up that demo scene and go straight to this. Let's just go over here and simple town pack, prefabs, car separate, okay. Alright, so car separate, and that's got wheels. Let's bring in car separate. Put him at 0. Alright, so simple car, simple town. Got this little guy. He's facing backwards, I think. Yeah, he's facing backwards. So to make the wheels are going to be backwards, but you won't really be able to tell. So you would normally put each wheel inside a game object like with that last car. And if someone's wheels are totally effed up, the pack comes with some wheels that you could use anyway. But what we'll do is we'll create empty, I'll just call this car, and car body, I guess, body, put that inside the car, and rotate it so that it's facing forward, so it has to turn around, so 180, and then take these wheels out of here, continue. They're all facing backwards, but that's okay for this, just for a quick test thing. So we got the car, and then we take the FunCar script vehicle controller. We have put these physics things on, put the car body front left, front right, rear left, rear right, and there's no ground here, I'm thinking. It's probably just going to fall through the ground. Yeah, so you could just go create 3D object plane, make it really big, and invisible. So you should just drive around on this plane. When wheels turn, create, did I delete the camera? Oh yeah, so create a camera, put our camera on it, put the car onto the camera's target, play it, follow a little bit higher up, but it's pretty much good. Copy component, stop, paste component values. So that's cool. And then if you want to use this world, these roads and sidewalks as the collision, there's one thing, so they're probably made out of tiles. Each of these road pieces are little tiles. And in between each tile, there's going to be like a little seam that the car might get caught on. So what we have that we had to use for our level is we take all those meshes, blend them together into one mesh, and then all the little vertice points that are close together, we round them so that if they're really close together, they snap to the exact same spot, and that way you can drive smoothly over them between each of the tiles. So the way that is, where am I? So we have roads here. It's got all these road meshes, all these little. So to do this, all these meshes have to be editable. So in the Simpletown pack, I'm just going to select all of their models in their import settings and turn read write enabled to true and press apply. Put this guy back at 0. So now all these meshes can be edited. So on their parent that they're all inside, and it has to have a 0, 0, 0 position, you bring that script on in the FunCar Kit scripts. There's merge meshes, and it just has a little warning. The meshes have to be. So this thing, when you press play, it creates a collider. It generates this big collider out of all of the meshes that are inside of it. And so we don't need this plane anymore. Should be able to drive right up on the sidewalk here. So we can use the roads how they were built to drive on. So that'd be cool. And just for fun, let's grab every single vehicle and give it a physics rigid body with not very much weight and a mesh collider. And just drive into them. Take that, simple town. Take that, bus. Take that, ambulance. Eat it, fire truck. Bam. Police. Holy smokes, that fire truck went flying. Suck it. That's cool.